Hey guys, Josh here. So welcome to my guide for the capstone to tier 4 dungeon. So the Idol of the Fallen Temple, basically. So you got 3 bosses. So this is the first boss, which is the Idol of the Fallen Temple. But you need to throw that idol in the middle. Periodically, the idol will spawn constant suicide mobs over and over again. These suicide mobs that are linked to the area will die where they stand. You actually do not need to go DPS them, as even though I'm doing that, you don't need to actually go and DPS them. If they are linked, you do not need to touch them at all. And just keep DPSing the outer temple, keep DPSing the ads on the side as well. So you can see here that they explode regardless of what I do. So you can see my Druid is putting up the Earthen Spike, and that's pretty much it. Now, you may watch this, or you may watch me live on Twitch TV/OnlyJosh TV. Also, I'd much appreciate if you guys subscribe on YouTube as well and like this video as well. So we're going to get into it overall. So for the first one, which is the going down the cursed halls overall. So pretty much what you got to do is just basically make sure you dodge the exploding mobs and keep DPSing the Idol of the Fallen Temple. You can just zerg the temple or alternatively just do it bit by bit. Now after this, after you've killed the last Overseer guide here, you'll get a curse put on you called Curse of the Indolent when you retrieve the stone. Now the Curse of the Indolent will make mobs CC a lot more, which can hurt you in the later part of the dungeon where you go for the second hall basically as well. Now be aware before you put that stone on a pedestal, make sure you just deal with all the mobs. As you can see, they're dealing with all the mobs as well. Overall, this first mini boss is fairly simple, but I just want to keep an eye on the curse. So you get a curse now, you see that debuff there, that every 5 seconds that you get an extra stack of it. It means the CCs will last 2% longer, 3% longer, 4% longer, unless you kill a mob. And that's pretty much it. So pretty much you should just speed clear through the next area. It should be relatively simple. Now, I'm doing this at level 59, or level 60. You can do this at level 56. I've seen someone do it at 53 as well. So you can actually go from tier 3 to tier 4 very quickly if you've got a very good gear set. I do recommend making sure you get a full sacred gear set before trying to attempt this capstone dungeon, because the buffs from normal to sacred is absolutely huge. Anyways, we're going to go on to the next part of the dungeon. We're going to quickly go on to the boss. So, see you guys in a quick moment. So next up for this boss is going to be Trial of the Week, okay? So we're back, by the way, guys. And you may notice that the music is off, but we'll just turn that on quickly. So pretty much this little part of the dungeon is interesting, okay? You just keep killing mobs and keep living, okay? That's pretty much all you do. And pretty much towards the end, it becomes a Zerg of absolute champions, and that's it. So for this mini boss, it's fairly simple. Just keep your ultimates that stun everyone off, off cooldown just in case. And then pretty much after you kill all these, after a while, after a bit longer, you'll be like, feeling like you'll be overwhelmed, and then bam, everything goes away. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even focusing. I'm just sitting there going, whoa. Like, if you saw my webcam here, I'm just shocked that everything just died. And I'm just like, wait a second. Like, what the hell happened? And this happened to me twice, because I tried to do this capstone dungeon 56 and failed. So, yeah. So anyways, so you go put this thing into the chamber, and you go to the next one, it's going to be the cathedral. Now, with the Cathedral Flesh, you are now afflicted by both debuffs, which means that you take extra damage, and also you get CC'd a bit longer. The cool thing is that you can get rid of both of these debuffs by portaling out, okay? Which I don't do in this video, because I think portaling out is a bit cheap, to be honest, as well. But you can portal out and get rid of both debuffs. I learned this by mistake as I got to the last boss of this dungeon, but we'll get to that last boss of the dungeon shortly, because this is pretty easy. You just have to clear trash, and that's pretty much it. Fairly simple. So guys, you can see me clearing up the last ads and the last cannibals, put into the Animus, to get to this next boss, which is going to be Elias. Now, Elias has a few mechanics that you gotta watch out for. Sorry for the cough there. So for Elias, as you can see here, you got my wolves there ready to go. I'm basically full focus mode, if you saw my webcam. So this is the round flames. So the flames will go into a semi-arc, semi-circle, and then reflect the opposite direction. Next one, you get the free flames, the free red flames. You just have to dodge or move at a proportional time would be good. Next, you get the add blood spatter, where he'll spawn dogs, then he'll spawn succubuses, then he'll spawn nothing, then he'll spawn dogs, then he'll spawn succubuses, then he'll spawn nothing. Make sure you be able to deal with these mobs without using any of your ultimate CC ability. You want to use your ultimate CC ability when the second wave comes, which is succubuses. Now, he also summons a poison one. That's not to mistake with the blood splatter. You just want to get away with it. Now, he also does a flame wave as well. This is a good time for you to do a lot of damage during that flame wave as well, because he doesn't move for 2 seconds. So you can put up your damage in. Also, as well, with staggers, you want to be using your main ability. You want to be using your DPS cooldowns other than the main CC right away. Now, this one is the hardest one to deal with, is the succubuses. Now he does another flame volley as well, where he launches flames in the opposite direction, but at the same time he launches them in a staggered pattern, so you got to make sure you duck in and then duck out. Now he does this triangle thing where he summons Balrogs. During this time he does nothing, so you can DPS him during this point, but you do need to kill the Balrogs and the Succubuses, because the Balrogs will put vulnerable on you, which will do a lot of damage, and also you can't get close to them as well. Now you can see this is a really, really bad Elias. In fact, they have multiple ads spawning at the same time. Now he also gets extra bits of volleys every time you churn down his potions. So you can see here, they've churned down a couple of his potions. So he's basically sitting there with 4 bolts coming after me. And pretty much I die here. So this is a really, really bad RNG attempt, as you can see here as well. So the first things you want to know is that there's the spread flames, where you just got to duck left and right. Then you got the slime puddles, which you just got to get in a gap, or just get out altogether. You got the blood puddles, where the first blood puddle will spawn a dog, second blood puddle will spawn a succubus, and third blood puddle will spawn nothing. Then you got the triangle of Balrogs. This will evolve into a star later on, and I'll show you that for you in just a few seconds, and the later parts of the fight as well. In fact, we'll just show you a kill. So I thought I'd show you this as well. So basically later on, Balrog, he spawns 5 Balrogs instead. So he'll go from a triangle where he summons 3, he'll do a fake summon where he does another triangle, and then he'll summon 5 just like this. You want to make sure that Elias is either close to dead or you're about to stagger him, because you cannot handle 5 Balrogs at once, okay? Just FYI, it is very difficult to do so, given the fact they have a lot of vulnerabilities and stuff like that as well, and they can basically slap you for a lot of damage. You can see here that I'm desperately trying to do any sort of damage to them, and I die here as well. So make sure those Balrogs die very, very quickly as well, or you make sure he's dying in that area, like stagger him and stuff like that as well. So this is how hard this fight becomes. Later it goes in. You may have noticed the Balrogs, the constant ad spawning. He's firing 5 red homing bolts this time, so be aware of that as well. Now, I believe this one is the kill, where I do kill him on the 3rd attempt. I gotta say, overall, with Elias, if you're doing a hardcore character, you want to be level 70. Now, you can see here that you can also just split between the bolts, so you can hide in there as well. Now, pretty much my main strategy here, as a Landslide Druid, and Landslide Druid only really works well on CC, is basically all I'm trying to do is stagger him. Okay, that's really what I'm trying to do at the moment. Things that do really, really help here is having a 2 evade or 3 evade boots. Really, really helps with this boss fight, because it allows you to double dodge, which can be needed in certain instances when you're trying to dodge multiple mechanics at the same time. So you can see here the bolts as well. That second dodge allows me to dodge this other 2. Now with the blood spatter as well, this is actually a really, really bad start, given the fact that I have 2 succubuses. Now it's good when the succubuses get together, which is really, really good, but this is a really bad DPS start. As you can see there, is that basically when he was down, the succubus is already out, which means I have to DPS the succubuses while he was staggered, which allows me to do a lot of damage. Now with the CC build with Druids, I do a lot more damage when mobs are CC'd, and that includes when a mob is staggered, so that's what annoys me the most. Now in this instance, I have to use Petrify on the non-succubuses because there's too many ads up at the moment. We're going to get Balrog shortly as well. Now with the red homing bolts and the other sludge bolts as well, it is better to be further away than closer. And also as well, as you can see here, when he does the fiery corner debuff, you can actually DPS him and get a few shots off in between. And you can see here I dodged the AoE firebolt volley by splitting in between. Now I gotta say right now, you can ascertain what sort of moves he is doing. If he has nothing around him, so most likely he's doing the red homing bolts, and that's pretty much it. So assume that if he's doing nothing, he's doing the red homing bolts. Now with this Balrog pattern as well, if you walk in between those fire paths, you take a lot of damage. So basically, pretty much, you need to stay where you are until the Balrog summon is finished being casting. Now, this is a crucial stun phase. If you got Petrify and you're a Landslide Druid, you should pop it everything now to do as much damage as you can. Because it's very, very important to do as much damage as you can during these stagger phases. And make sure, when the succubuses do come out, that you focus solely on the succubuses and have at least Elias in range so you know what moves Elias is doing. It is very, very critical that you know what Elias is doing at all times, because you could definitely die if you don't know what Elias is doing. And, you could go into some really, really hard situations, as you can see here. Like, I almost die because I don't see Elias and what he's doing, basically, so I can't dodge it. Now, this second triple one here will not spawn Balrogs. It's just like the puppy, so it goes Balrog, no Balrog, 5 Balrogs, and, pretty much death at 5 Balrogs. Now, you can see here, bit of bad mechs from me, as you can see here, where I actually walk into one of the bolts, which doesn't help me at all, given the fact I only have 3 pots left. Now, this should be a doggy one. Doggies are pretty much easy to deal with. Let them melee you for a bit if you're a tanky class, and then AoE them down when they're all clumped up together. The succubuses are a lot harder because you can't clump them up all together since they're a ranged mob, and every time you approach them in melee, they'll just back away from you. Now also as well, make sure you find a little hidden spot as well in between the movements. Be where you don't actually have to completely avoid it. Now with the fires as well, we'll just pause that quickly as well. With the fires in the later stages after 50%, he will fire one area, then fire all the other areas. So this is why where the 2 evade charge is really, really good, is that you can evade out the first one, and you can evade back in for the second one and take no damage. And this is actually really, really important, you need to know to do. Now, this is the important one, the 5 Balrog. So he needs to die in this 5 Balrog, basically. If he doesn't die, you are dead. 5 Balrogs are going to kill you unless you're the same level as them, because they do too much damage. Now, you can see here that I'm just zerging him at the moment, because that stagger bar is very close. Now, be aware as well, the stagger bar, is that if he's staggered and all the enemy mobs have spawned, they are also staggered, okay? And that's pretty much how you kill Elias, okay? So the main things that you want to note on killing Elias is basically simply this, is that dodge the red bolts when they get the furthest out, because they'll come zipping to the position that you were very, very quickly. With the firebolt volley, if it's a half circle, the safe spot is actually on the side, on the middle of the fireball side, or just split in between them. If the firebolts are all around him, just basically find the one that's the most spread out. Like if that fires first, go to the right, and then go to the right or left, and then go back to where you originally were to dodge the second firebolt. Now, with the blood ads, just fit in between the spots to make sure you don't get caught in them, and same with the poison ads as well. Always remember with the blood puddle ads, it's going to be doggies, succubus, nothing, doggies, succubus, nothing, okay? So remember to keep that in your mind as well when to deal with ads or not. Now with the Balrogs, the triangle means 3 Balrogs are going to spawn. The second triangle means 0 Balrogs are going to spawn. The 5-star Balrogs means 5 Balrogs are going to spawn. And either you need to kill that boss at that time, or you just need to CC to how the Balrogs and just hope and pray that you can kill Elias. Hope you guys enjoyed this Elias guide, and happy killing Elias, and welcome to tier 4 once you do it.